Hey guys, it's me, Seren. Walking vlog, I guess, part of walking vlogs. I just really wanted to make this video because I'm sitting outside of this center in Little Rock. You guys see it? Yeah. I'm sitting outside of this visitor center in Little Rock, right across the street from the Central High School, where the Little Rock 9 desegregated and basically caused this national crisis, this integration crisis, the Little Rock crisis or whatever. And I just have such mixed feelings. I just had to talk about it. You guys know how I feel about integration. I have a whole video on integration. If you haven't seen that video, I'll include a link in the description box. I don't know if this will be its own video or if this will be a part of walking vlogs. And as you guys know, I'm a separatist. I don't necessarily think that integration was the best thing for us. I think that we placed, in terms of the concept of separate but equal, we placed too much value on being separate and not enough value on being equal. And two things that I really wanted to talk about that I noticed while I was inside of this museum or visitor center. It's a national park historic landmark, which is excellent. Shout out to the national parks. Ooh, got a low battery. Was just that, well, first thing I wanted to talk about was busing. This concept of busing, that is discussed thoroughly inside. This idea that, black students would be bused into white schools and white school districts and white school systems. Again, I talked about this in my integration video. I felt like true integration would have been more of a two-way street, I guess you could say. It was sort of this assumption of, well, the black schools ain't shit and the white schools are amazing, so we need to put our kids in the white schools, and not, well, the black schools ain't shit, so how do we improve the black schools? How do we make it so that the black schools are equal to the white schools, so that we can really hammer home the idea, the notion that we are equal. And I even feel like if that had been the approach that was taken to integration, and if we use busing as an example, hold on. Yeah, and if we use busing as an example, then it should have been, more of a two-way street. So we, improve the black schools, we get the black schools up to par. We bus white kids into black schools. We bus black kids into white schools. We have black teachers going to white schools. We have white teachers going to black schools. That would have been more of an even exchange, a true integrating of students and of kids and of schools and of systems. Instead, what we got, as I've talked about previously, was more of an assimilation, a forcible movement of black students and black American bodies into extremely hostile, racist, violent, dangerous white environments. And it breaks my heart, because I just feel like, why, for what? Because we already had the idea that the white schools were better, and so that's where we needed to be. And even in being in there and reading some of the things that the Little Rock 9 said themselves, they said, I loved learning, I wanted an education, although I was getting a fine education at my black school, which Dunbar was the black school here in Little Rock. Even though I was getting a fine education, I knew I would have more opportunities and more access, and more resources and options for college if I went to the white school, which is really even still an attitude and a mindset that we see to this day, 2018, almost 2019, of if I want the best, I have to go white. If you want this idea of if you want the best of anything, you have to go white. It is a prevailing notion that has dogged us ever since integration, because we were never truly integrated. We were assimilated. We were forcibly moved based around this idea that we shouldn't be separate, and not the idea that we should see ourselves as equal, because people don't see us as equal. We don't see ourselves as equal, and I do. And this is why I'm not an integrationist. I'm a separatist. I reject this notion. The busing thing is, what is the point, right? The Little Rock 9 students in a high school. Or, they have pictures in there of one black face in a classroom full of white students. And I know it's meant to invoke this spirit or this feeling of, oh, they're so brave and look at what they did. But for me, I just feel annoyed. Why? For what purpose? I mean, like, I get what the purpose was supposed to be, but it didn't work out that way, and it didn't address the underlying issues in terms of equality and how do we make ourselves as Black people equal, not just separate, but equal. How do we believe ourselves that we are equal? How do we believe ourselves that our school systems are equal? How do we believe ourselves that our communities are equal? How do we believe ourselves that our jobs are equal, that our teachers are equal, that our that we are enough and that our communities are equal, instead of this super prevailing notion that white is better and we have to be in these white spaces to be better. And it just kind of pissed me off. It did. And then the second thing that I wanted to talk about was the media. They talk about media representation and how the presence of the media here in Little Rock really contributed to the kicking off of the civil rights movement, because these images were broadcast, nationwide and then globally, of these Black students that were attempting to attend school and were being abused and were being violently assaulted and spat on, and the National Guard had to be brought in to ensure that they could go to school, to what's the word I want, accompany them or whatever. And then when the angry racist white mobs couldn't get to the students, they turned on the reporters. And there's like a whole part in the museum. I'll include links, I guess, in the clips in this video, where they're talking about the media and how there was this idea that the Eastern media, the Northern media, they don't understand our peculiar, Southern traditions, which I found to be really interesting. This concept of, it was like the concept of fake news, right? Like, this integration. This integration thing is not real. It's not a real problem. It's an idea that's being made up by the media. And then the way that the civil rights leaders then sort of turned around and discovered how to utilize the media to their advantage. We saw this again with the Bloody Sunday, how they did the March on Selma, and how it was, broadcast that they were basically getting their asses beat and getting killed and getting thrown off bridges and water hoses and dogs. And how we have even adapted that now, but how nowadays in 2018, and especially with the advent of the internet, this whole idea of media and the use of media, it's been somewhat turned on its head a bit in the way that we sort of disseminate information and the things that we believe and the things that we believe that we see on TV and stuff like that. So that was really interesting to witness, and just to know, like, so much of the use of media in activism and in civil rights movements is so historical, and just the way that we do it. It was super interesting. Super glad I came here today. Yeah. Hey guys, me Seren, back with another walking vlog. I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm walking around Bethel AME Church, which is one of the oldest African American churches in the country. It's a really nice day. It's really nice, pretty weather. It's a good day for a walk, and I'm glad to be here at this historic site, able to see this and share it with you guys.